like had to stop and like think about what I was doing and where I was and like the thousands of years of human history in this spot. And that kind of like reoriented my brain a little bit in that moment of like high pressure to really take in how incredible that place is.
Hey Stephen, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for your time. I love the film. I'm so excited to chat about it. I have so many things I'd love to ask you about.
Oh, good.
I want to actually start off by discussing that overall filmmaking experience and your continued exploration of Miranda's story, because this is a sequel to Invitation to a Murder. And of course, you had Mischa back for the film. However, you filmed in a new location, you had some new characters come in here. So, this time around, what was that experience like, kind of delving further into Miranda's story and expanding her universe?
Yeah, it was a really great experience to get the opportunity to revisit because, we were just kind of telling a first chapter in her story. In that, in the first film, if you've seen it, you know that she does in fact solve a murder in that murder mystery. But it's the first one she's ever done, and she has no experience doing it in real life. She's a big fan of like murder mystery novels, but she's never had the chance to put her own skills to the test. So by the end of that film, we leave her kind of deciding that she wants to go into this private investigating thing for herself, and then we kind of pick up where she's in the middle of like the beginning of her career, and then she's thrown into a really big heavy duty case in Egypt of all places. And it's it was great to be able to work with Misha and to kind of like, take what we had worked together to build in the first film, and then like where do we go from here. She's got, incredible instincts for like how to handle that character, and all the challenges that come with that. So we also got to open it up. The first movie was very much a closed door mystery, and this one we're in these massive vistas. We're against these beautiful ancient backdrops, and I mean, there's a lot that changed. I think the spirit of the film itself even kind of has a little bit of a different tone. Like we're trying to not just give you the same thing again, but really actually graduate the character, continue this journey, develop something new and fresh. So it's been fun.
Yeah, that's why one of the things I love about watching kind of murder mystery series in any type of way is how, like you said, the worlds change and it's not necessarily the same setting or the same kind of vibe in the films. And it's fun to see how those characters grow and change as the world expands around them. And
Yeah, for sure.
and you did a great job with
Absolutely.
that. I'm curious when you first read through the script, or even when the writers start with this story, how do you get involved in that process? Are you reading through it from start to finish without knowing what's going to be happening? Are you kind of anticipating what's going to happen as you read through it?
Yes. Yeah. So the first read is pretty fresh for me. I'll see like early aesthetic treatments and concepts and things like that, but I try to keep the first read as contact free as possible because um it's nice to have the audience experience first and not spoil it for yourself, because then you can kind of like draw on your instincts of like, where was I finding the most intrigue, what was the most suspenseful for me upon first read, and then kind of like figure out how to help those moments really sing when you're, bringing it to the screen at that point. So I like to give it a first clean read, really think about my experience, and then dig in, because there's always stuff that like, oh, maybe if we change this, we could, And so I've been involved in the writing process throughout to try and amplify certain things or adjust other things. But yeah, it's different every time, I guess. And this one was a lot of fun. I was interested to see where it went. I was excited to see that there was kind of like an intention to chase a little bit more of an adventure tone, and so that was something that I really wanted to dig into. And yeah.
Yeah. It's funny when I started watching it when it was first just kind of contained in the home, I was thinking a lot about Clue, the board game. I was a big Clue player when I
Yeah.
was a kid. And I was like, okay, who did it? Where was this done? With what? But I always like to think I'm smarter going into these than I am, and then I'm very brutally humbled quickly, not figuring out where this goes.
Aren't we all? That's
No.
the conceit, I think, of the structure, is you're really trying to give everyone some sort of plausible suspicion. And there was some Clue inspiration. There's a moment in the film, I think viewers will notice that we do put everyone in a room with some sort of motive or object, at a
Yeah.
certain point to kind of be like, this is still, it could be anybody, you know. Anyway, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, no, absolutely. You filmed this one in Egypt, and so I'm curious for you, what was that filmmaking experience like, and what's the most memorable aspect of that, either whether it was during set or maybe even on those days you weren't necessarily filming or at night?
I mean, what a gift. Egypt is a bucket list place to visit for a lot of people, and it certainly was for me. I had never been. This film took me to Egypt, and for me, it was a film first and a trip to Egypt second, you know, and my brain was just trying to work against a really tight schedule, make sure we're getting what we need in the right amount of time, and I wasn't in the moment as much as I could have been until um, we arrive on set to shoot at the pyramids of Giza, right? And our on-set archaeologist kind of tells me offhand, like, no one's ever shot anything over here. And I'm like, sorry, what? He's like, no one's filmed anything in this spot before. And I like had to stop and like think about what I was doing and where I was and like the thousands of years of human history in this spot. And that kind of like reoriented my brain a little bit in that moment of like high pressure to really take in how incredible that place is. And it really is incredible. I mean, we shot on the Nile, we shot at the pyramids, we shot at so many beautiful locations. The crew was fantastic. The sun was unforgiving, but we made it through. And yeah, nothing but incredibly positive, glowing things to say about the experience in Egypt. Would recommend, would definitely do it again.
That's so cool about the pyramid. Was there anything you saw that was unexpected that you didn't expect in that environment to see? Anything about that landmark
Yes.
at all?
Well, so they will not shut it down for any production. It's a massive tourist spot, right? And you've got horses coming through and camels coming through and vehicles coming through and trying to figure out how to position our camera so that it looked like we were the only ones there was a huge challenge. But we were in this because we had gone scouting several times and I was like, what we need is a place that feels like an active archaeological dig site. And I like while we were driving, I pointed at a spot and I was like, is there any chance we could just shoot over there where we see those ruins and like you can still see the pyramids in the background? And and they're like, well, we'll check. And for a while it was like I didn't hear back whether or not we were going to be able to shoot there. But it was absolutely perfect for what we needed. And then we get there and it is an active archaeological dig site. Like there were people working where we were shooting. And our guide there was telling us where we could walk, where we could put equipment, and where we needed to not be. And that's when he was kind of like, well, no one's ever shot anything over here. And I was just blown away by the idea that like we're still discovering things over there. Well, we like I'm an archaeologist or something, but like
You are now.
it's just such an incredible, very much alive place that does not stop. And I think we did an okay job keeping everyone out of the frame and trying to make it look like our actors were all by themselves. But it was jam-packed with both scientists and tourists alike. So
Well, I wouldn't have guessed anyone else was around there, so I'd say you
oh
did a
good.
pretty great job of that. That's what I was thinking a lot to watching anything in the scenes in the streets, thinking about how technically challenging that must have been to try and navigate through, especially with, I don't want to spoil anything, but the car scene with Misha, trying to
Sure.
get through there and trying to make sure was that part of the street closed off, or was that also technically hard to balance?
That's that is our one. So Cairo has, well, I guess it's not technically Cairo. There's a, I believe it's called oh no, I'm gonna get it wrong, but it's Media City or something. There's they have a very active television and movie industry, and there are all these backlots there that are available for use. And we were searching. We were very close to closing off one road and then just having to like fake the corners that we were turning because we needed to also find places in Egypt that still felt like they could believably be the 1930s.
Right. Yeah.
And it was getting really difficult to find a spot that was going to work. And then we toured these backlots and it was just immediately like perfect. Like, oh, this is frozen in time. We're not closing off any roads. And then our crew brought in all of the set dressing, all of the animals and the vehicles and things. And at the end of the day, it's really great that we did shoot somewhere that had readily available alternate picture vehicles because one of our picture vehicles died and could not be brought back to life. And we had to reshoot a bunch of stuff. And had we been at that other location, we wouldn't have had access to an alternate. Getting a vehicle there in the first place would have been a challenge, let alone like anyway, there were so many challenges. But yeah, that scene, I love the way that it turned out because I was nervous myself. When we toured the backlot, it was completely desolate, empty, and our crew really brought it to life. And I think it blends in perfectly with everything else. So, and it's in Egypt. We went to Egypt and then we shot a little bit of fake Egypt in Egypt, but we were still there.
I love it. It all looked very seamless.
Great.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the film, and I can't
Thank
wait
you.
for everyone to see it.
All right. Thank you very much.